Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, September 16th. Today we will have generally quiet conditions across the Great Basin with just some slightly elevated winds across the Sierra Front into far northwest Nevada with gusts below 30 miles per hour and dry conditions. However, over the rest of the Great Basin we will see warm temperatures, low relative humidity, and plenty of smoke, especially across Idaho and Nevada, to impact visibility and air operations to the fire community. We also have some smoke over eastern Utah and kind of a hole over eastern Nevada into western Utah, which does not have quite as much smoke as areas to the north and west. As an area of low pressure moves into the Great Basin later this week, we will see southwest winds increase across Nevada into Idaho and to a lesser extent western Utah, and then those winds will spread further east on Friday. We will, however, behind that cold front, have cooler temperatures, higher humidity, and some showers, especially across Idaho into northeast Nevada. So these showers certainly could occur at some of our large fires in Idaho, especially over up towards the grouse and up towards the buck fire. Areas further west will at least see higher humidity, but possibly some lighter shower activity. We'll also see stronger winds continue on Friday behind the front over western Nevada. However, we will see higher humidity. Looking at the near surface smoke forecast for today, you can see obviously very little change from this morning into this afternoon and very similar to what we've seen over the last several days. Significant smoke over western and northern areas of the Great Basin and to a lesser extent over eastern areas, again, will continue throughout today. The 6,000-foot smoke forecast is really not a whole lot different. Again, just significant smoke across northern and western areas. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen no showers and thunderstorms across the Great Basin. And looking at the Great Basin fire activity, we only saw 11 new fires yesterday for 145 acres, with continued growth on our large fires. Over the last 7 days, we've seen dry conditions across Idaho, Nevada, into western Utah, and that has also continued over the last 2 weeks. The only precipitation was last week associated with the cold front over eastern areas. However, those areas have since seen significant drying. Currently, our ERCs are depicted here, many areas above the 97th percentile over northern Nevada into northern and western Utah, and also up into Idaho where we are seeing our large fires. And you can see even over eastern Utah, the fuels have really started recovering, especially across northeast Utah where ERCs are now above the 80th to 90th percentile. Looking at some of our current ERC maps, you can see again across Idaho, ERCs are at or approaching record levels, and again this is where we are continuing to see our active fire behavior both during the day and during the overnight hours, as fuels and relative humidity are still very dry and RH has actually been quite low during the overnight period. ERCs now over northern and eastern Utah have recovered significantly from the moisture we saw last week and are now back up to near record levels in some areas. 100-hour fuel moisture is still very critical over the western half of the Great Basin. Also, 1,000-hour fuel moisture and 100-hour fuel moisture are near record lows in many spots. Currently, our live fuel moistures are shown here and are near or at record lows across Idaho and are generally near normal over northern Nevada. Our satellite image from today shows a strong ridge of high pressure dominating the Great Basin. So in areas that we don't have smoke, there will be no cloud cover. However, we will have significant smoke that will impact our heating. You can also see Hurricane Sally over in the eastern U.S., which will continue to impact the Gulf Coast states with significant rain. Otherwise, the area of low pressure off the west coast will continue moving eastward, and this will bring our increase in winds and eventually some moisture and cooler temperatures. Again, later today, high pressure dominating, very dry conditions, a low daytime RH, poor overnight recoveries. No highlights on our significant fire potential map with high risk, just the continued dry conditions, and high hanes will continue with hanes of 5 or 6, which will certainly be an impact on our fires, especially up in Idaho. Winds today will generally be light along the Sierra Front. We could see just the typical Washoe Zephyr wind gusts in the 20s, and then relative humidity single digits to low teens. Moving on to Thursday, the ridge of high pressure shifts over the eastern side of the Great Basin, and the area of low pressure moves into the Pacific Northwest, and this will allow winds to increase more significantly, especially across Nevada and Idaho, and again, to a lesser extent, western Utah, but wind gusts could certainly exceed 30 to 40 miles per hour at times with very dry conditions. Looking at our winds, you can see those gusty winds, especially across Nevada, with those wind gusts getting closer to 35 or 40 miles per hour. Up across Idaho near our large fires, we will see stronger southwest winds, but generally with gusts between about 30 and 35 miles per hour. Relative humidity remains very low. On Friday, that area of low pressure moves into the Pacific Northwest, bringing some much needed moisture to Oregon and Washington, and also will push showers into parts of Idaho into northeast Nevada. Otherwise, we will see more cloud cover across the region. With these southwest winds, we may start to see some of the smoke ease or at least lighten in some areas of the western Great Basin. However, we will still continue to receive smoke from California fires. We will also be seeing cooler temperatures on Friday in the north, along with much higher relative humidity. So you can see from our significant fire potential, our fuels are moderating over northern and western areas as that front moves through. However, winds will remain gusty with dry conditions over eastern Idaho back down into Utah and southern and eastern Nevada. Wind gusts on Friday will likely be a little bit stronger than what we'll see on Thursday and be focused again over eastern Nevada into western and northern Utah and eastern Idaho. These wind gusts will also be southwest, gusting likely above 40 or 45 miles per hour. We will continue with breezy to windy conditions over our fires in Idaho and back into western Nevada and the Sierra Front. However, relative humidity will be increasing, still in the 15 to 20% range, so we still certainly will have some impacts to our current large fires despite the cooler temperatures and the higher humidity. Still with those winds, that could be an impact. Forecast amounts of precipitation are indicated here. Again, you can see our best chance of shower activity will be across Idaho into northeast Nevada, possibly clipping northwest Utah. And right now, our better chance of wetting rains will be in the central mountains, so we'll continue to watch how that moisture impacts our large fires. Moving into Saturday, that cold front pushes east, leaving behind still higher humidity and cooler temperatures for Idaho, so our significant fire potential will be decreasing up north. However, drier conditions continue further south, so not quite as much impact. On Sunday, however, we have dry air moving right back into Idaho, so we will see our fuels transitioning back to drier conditions as we go into later in the weekend. We also could see some breezy winds up north. On Monday, continued low pressure off the west coast, southwest to westerly flow, so certainly some smoke impacts to deal with depending on how the fire activity across the northwest into northern California changes going into early next week. Otherwise, still moderated fuels in the north and east as that cold front moves through. By Tuesday, potentially some showers for eastern Utah. So again, fuels will continue to recover in some of those areas. And then our 7-day total precip, you can see with the cold front, the majority of this precip will occur here going into Thursday and Friday. And again, mainly up north. However, we will see some showers across Utah as we go with the cold front, but also later in the 7-day period. And then additional precip potentially up into northern Idaho. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from September 23rd to the 29th, shows still warmer and drier conditions, maybe some moisture moving into the northwest, and maybe some moisture in the Four Corners area. But this is really just cold fronts moving through the region, so we will see periods of windy conditions and cooler temperatures as well during this time period. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest update.